All right, we're live. So it's Fright Night with Ferocious. Go ahead, Fuzzy.
Oh, right off the rip. Well, welcome everybody. We're gonna be discussing a movie called Skinwalkers from 2006. But before we get into all that, let's do some intros and find out what everybody's been up to. So we'll start with you, Matt. Welcome back. Hope everything is going well with you, and just let everybody know what you've been up to, or what movies you've been watching, maybe some games you've played over the past week or so. Just let everybody know what's on your mind.
So every time we always go over game, and I always feel like I don't play enough game, and then you guys saw that game, and I'm like, damn, I should check that one out. I should check that one out. So I didn't do any new ones, but I dusted off the old PS2, and I was playing Dave Mears BMX, which
Oh,
I
nice.
bought PS2 again just to play that game. So yeah, I've been playing that a little. Movies, I've been rewatching Dexter again. I watched Den of Thieves 2. I'm a huge Gerard Butler fan. Um, Getting ready for my Eagles on the Super Bowl this Sunday, so hopefully they win.
Yeah,
And that's about it.
nice. Yeah, we'll see if the Eagles can pull through. Hopefully, let's hope the refs are on our side, or at least not being as gentle with Mahomes. But we'll see how
Yeah,
it turns
fingers
out.
crossed, bud.
All right, Cypher, welcome back. It's good to have you back on the show. What have you been up to this past week? Any games or movies or events you'd like to talk about?
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, no, I honestly, I haven't played much new recently. Continue to go down the black hole of Balatro. Playing now on my phone, my Xbox, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. When I get a free second. Besides that, like Presto Beaches, I have also been watching a live Dexter. I think I'm halfway through season 7
Ooh.
now. So I've burnt through pretty much everything for the last few weeks to like a month and a half or so. So I'm working my way up to the new content that's come out over the last few years. Looking forward to getting to that. Yeah, and besides that, I am super excited about this weekend as well. I'm just excited that the Utah Jazz finally made it to the Super Bowl this year. And I can't wait to watch a riveting game of rugby. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, we got one of these tonight, I see.
Sorry about that.
The screaming in the background or my sarcasm?
No, it was my cat decided he wanted to knock the sound bar down because it was in the cool spot where he wanted to be, and figured that piece of high tech equipment didn't need to be there. So F this,
right.
get it off that shelf. Yeah.
And we've been giving him special love because he's sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
It's all right. He's up there in age, and we're just making it comfortable for him, except for when he knocks off electronics, and he's got to go and lay in front of the door instead of wherever he was trying to get to. But
you notice they always try and do that, like when they're sick and you're supposed to feel bad for them. They're the biggest of assholes.
It seemed like that. Yeah,
it's a struggle.
He's like, oh wait, I can get away with stuff now.
Yeah, exactly.
Except when you have a spotted tabby named Heidi, and then she's just jerk all the time.
Takes after the mother, I see.
Her attitude's a 7 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, 7.9.
Yeah,
she is my baby girl.
Well, that explains a lot. I missed last week. I gotta get them in sometime,
Oh yeah.
You're welcome, Fuzzy.
Sophie, what have you been up to this past week? Any movies? I know you haven't played any games as of recent, but what about movies and TV shows you've been into lately?
Yeah, you know darn well I haven't played no video games.
Oh man. Here we go.
So I was telling Cypher that I am so there's a TV show that came out in the 2000s called Being Human, and it originally started in the UK, and then they made a US version. So I watched the US version beforehand. So now I'm basically watching the UK version, which has a different plot. Well, I mean, as far as the storyline, there are some similarities, but a lot of things are different, and even the cast changes. Whereas in the US cast, it really didn't change. The main three characters were in it. The main three characters actually changed throughout the course. So that's looking to be interesting. So, but that's what I've been doing. Besides,
Nice.
of course, the natural drama that we go through every day.
Has anyone has any of us watched the show You?
No, not yet.
No.
It's on Netflix. It's it kind of, my wife loves it, and I guess season 4 or something comes out soon. So I'm like, oh, this might be a good show. Kind of reminds you of a Dexter vibe. Like the guy's kind of like stalking a girl and stuff. I'm almost through the first season. It's definitely worth a watch. If you want to kill some time and you want a show to watch.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Something to binge.
What I'm interested in is, anybody watch Teacup?
One episode, and then I fell asleep.
And then you fell seriously?
I pulled a fuzzy.
Wow.
I think it was after the horse was injured in the first episode. I was like, yep, I'm good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. Not to spoil anything, but some weird rules, some, I guess, alien rules type of thing. But yeah, I think, what season are we on? Are we into season 2 now, or is there season 3?
So we're waiting for season 2. I can say this, spoiler: there's no cats that get harmed in this. Therefore, Fuzzy continued to watch.
Yeah, it was just a stray dog and a couple of people. They didn't follow the rules, so they turned inside out.
But no cats were harmed.
It's funny how us as a society, we watch movies where people get murdered brutally, and we're like, no problem. And then like an animal gets you, you're like, oh, you crossed the line. Like that's where I put my foot down.
Yeah. Screw all those people. Chop them up in parts, bits and pieces and stuff. But nope. Don't better not harm a hair on a dog or a cat. Nope.
Once you fucked up that goldfish, it was over. So, side note, at my old job, a guy, this was his excuse. He was at work. He got a phone call and he said, I gotta go. My pet parrot called me and told me my goldfish drowned, and then he left. Like, he just walked out of the building. I was just like, what? He said it's so convincing and left so fast that like you believed it. And then like once he was gone, like 10 minutes later passing, you're just like, oh shit. He never came back. So I'm guessing he was pretty distraught about his goldfish drowning. So
we had something similar at my job. A guy, he was like a friend of a friend, got hired and whatnot. And then I guess his like second like his first week, he bought a used Camaro, like a one from like the early 80s or whatever. Thing drinks gas like you won't believe type of deal. But he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to lunch, but I gotta get some gas first. And that was the last we saw of the dude. And everybody looks at his friend like, you're the one that referred him here, right? He's like, yeah, he's not even returning my calls. I guess he didn't want to work in the warehouse anymore. And instead of saying like quit, he was like, no, I'm gonna go get some gas. And it's like, I've been getting gas for like 2 hours. Did he break down or something?
Poor guy's still looking for the gas station.
I'll have to tell you. I'll have to tell you a story sometime about when we were playing on Xbox on the original. I think it was the original or the 360, and there was a Hoover incident. I won't go into detail, but yeah, someone in our party made someone laugh so hard that they dropped off and like disconnected from the game, and we never saw that person again. So,
Wow.
so we're convinced that maybe that person died from the laughter.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Fuzzy, check on me if you don't hear anything.
okay. No, well, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
wink,
I mean,
wink.
you got to wait until after the podcast, at least. No.
and then after a second podcast, so
Yeah. I'll check on you during the bathroom break.
yeah, maybe like 11 o'clock we could check on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody take you to the emergency room.
Mm-hmm. Well, here we go. No, but as for me this past week, just been taking it easy as far as gaming. Got the Quest 3 like a couple weeks ago. Put it down for a bit because I got a little motion sick chasing after zombies and stuff. I forgot to put the instead of doing the teleport, I did the slide. And you probably, if you do slide, definitely do the tunnel vision kind of thing when you move, because when you see the stuff move along the sides, like your peripheral vision, yeah, that's how you get motion sick. And I didn't realize that until about a half hour in, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good anymore. So yeah,
Jeez.
I learned the hard way, but it's definitely a fun game. It's a little on the silly side, but that's all the lure to it. Plus, you get a doggy that you can either have them sick the zombies or get supplies and things like that, or get keys on the other side of the fence type of stuff. So, pretty cool game. I can't remember the second part of the name, but it's like Arizona something, and it's like post-apocalyptical, zombie horde. The military's trying to evacuate people, or maybe they're dropping the zombies there. I don't know, but it's fun so far.
Yeah, it's like Arizona Road Zero or something.
Yeah. It's if you have VR, definitely worth picking it up. If you're looking like on the outskirts of looking to see if you want to get VR, I would say the new Quest models are worthwhile. There's plenty of games out there, but like the Batman game that comes with it now is pretty cool. Just make sure you have enough room when you're swinging around, punching the bad guys and stuff like that. But outside of that, the zombie game's great, bowling's great, and there's a whole library of stuff in their back catalog. So definitely check it out. But
does somebody have like a clown parade?
Yeah, I was about to say I hate to stop you in place, Fuzzy, but what the fuck clown parade is going on in the background?
I don't know.
It sounds like you're listening to like Barnum and Bailey's greatest hits back there.
So that's actually me. My apologies.
Is that you? You getting your clown fetish on before we start the movie?
I have Terrifier 3 on in the background.
Jesus, man.
And Art might have been honking the clown. Spoiler. Actually, it wasn't even Art, so spoiler.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
Okay, well,
man.
that makes more sense. I
Yeah.
thought maybe I was losing my mind.
I took the heat off you, Fuzz. I could have just let you burn.
Like, oh, it's the shoes.
Yeah, Fuzz,
No.
what is that noise? Tell us.
No, but yeah, watching this movie, Skinwalkers. I was about to call it Skin Crawlers. Jeez.
No.
That's what it did after you watched it.
This is the one that came out in 2006. Now, I'm not necessarily the biggest like werewolf fan or even vampire fan. I'm more of the zombie fan. This one wasn't too bad, but I guess I'll start off with my initial impression. the story beat, or at least the origins and whatnot, was a little confusing at first. Took a while to kind of figure out who were the actual bad guys or good guys or what exactly was going on, type of thing. But I guess it took about 30 minutes to get kind of what the gist of what's going on with this red moon and who's hunting who and why and whatnot. But what do you guys? I guess let you guys go as far as your first impressions. What was your thoughts either before it started, just based on maybe a trailer or the cover art, or like 15 minutes in, what were you thinking this thing was headed? So I'll start with you, Matt.
So most of the movies, I'll watch a trailer or read about it, at least on IMDb, just to kind of see what I'm getting myself into. So this one I did, and reading the trailer, reading about it, I was actually pretty hyped about it. You hear two werewolf gangs going against each other to go after this boy. Like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Like, I was expecting some like badass werewolves. Like, I was expecting a lot more than I guess was delivered. There was a couple scenes where it reminded me of other movies that we'll get into later on, where I was watching, I was like, dude, this is like an exact scene from this movie, or this totally reminds me of this movie. And in the end, I feel like it just fell flat without getting too far into it right now.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it definitely had a little bit of a confusing beginning. I didn't really even watch the trailer or read about it, so I kind of went in blind for it. But Cypher, what were your initial thoughts on this one?
So I tried to do what I've continued to do the last few times, which is like not really watch trailers or any of that. I've tried to avoid doing my research, like what Presto just said he's doing. I've done the opposite, because I found it very interesting when I get into some of these movies, just trying to go off of the name or trying to go off of like what I could maybe assume this movie is going to be. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw that it was called Skinwalkers, I thought that it had something to do with Skinwalker Ranch, which is a scenario that happened out here in Utah, with UFOs and all sorts of stuff like that. And so then when I jumped into it and I saw it was a werewolf movie, I was like, oh, okay, this is not what I expected it was going to be. But I was pleasantly surprised right off the rip with the cast. There's a lot of really good names in this cast. Unfortunately, the cast does not save the movie maybe as much as I was hoping it would be. Like, some of them did a really good job. I just feel like something was missing, and it didn't land exactly the way I was hoping. I think it kind of goes to what you were talking about, is trying to understand where they were going with the story. Maybe just was they didn't flesh it out the way I was maybe hoping they would, or maybe there were just some ideas that were floating. We always talk about the topic of rewrites and stuff in some of these movies, and I wonder if maybe this went through a few rewrites, or there was some sort of tumultuous issue in the background, because the story doesn't feel like it's very well fleshed out. The logic of what's happening, the story narrative and stuff just kind of feels a little all over the place. And I'm sure we will talk about it more. And I do want to say, I agree with Presto. There were multiple times when I was watching this and I was like, okay, this film this film feels like it's almost a parody of multiple different movies. And I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, or if they were drawing inspiration from some of those movies, so that's why they brought this forward. But I'll be very curious, if when we get to that point, if you guys caught on to one of the ones that I was kind of triggered by towards the end of the movie. I'm curious if you guys landed on the same page with that.
There was two towards the end for me, so
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you got the same one, I'm gonna be very happy because when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute. Did I just change movies? Am I watching something else now? So yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh,
I
go ahead.
think I'm on the same page as everybody else. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't what I expected, because I knew it was going to be a werewolf movie. But at the same time, the actors that were in there, it's some of them felt like they were dialing it in, and some felt like they couldn't play off of each other very well. Like they were doing their lines, but there wasn't that much chemistry
Yeah.
in there. And it was
Yeah.
a very simple plot, but and it's fine to have a simple plot. There's tons of things that have simple plots. I mean, Dawn of the Dead had a simple plot. Night of the Living Dead had a simple plot. But it just felt like, for an action horror movie, there wasn't much action in it. And maybe that was it. I just like everybody else, I just don't know, you know, what was missing, but there was something missing. That was my feeling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't go into depth as far as like either fleshing out the origins or whatnot. But like for me, when they were first chasing that one guy around and whatnot, I'm like, well, is he the werewolf? Because like kind of like with Cypher Walker Ranch, I kind of assume maybe this is like a body snatchers thing or an alien takeover kind of thing. Just because I watch a lot of the Y Files or whatever, so I was like, oh, maybe this will be sci-fi or something. But considering it was werewolves, it's like, okay, well, is he human or is he werewolf? Are they werewolves? Oh, it's like the other guy had silver bullets, so I'm figuring, well, maybe he's the human and they're the werewolves, but werewolves usually don't use the guns and whatnot. So, I don't know. It just feels like it was all over the place, at least in the beginning. But once you kind of it gets settled to why they're or not why, but that they're hunting this child or the prodigy that could change the destiny of the werewolves or whatever. Then okay, that part kind of makes it. But yeah, some of the actors, like the guy that's I call him like Stabler's older, balder brother kind of thing. I forget Stabler's the actor's name from Law and Order, but they look alike, and he's the guy that was in some wonderful.
Casey Jones,
Elias Cote. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. You're
Mhm.
talking about TMNT. Every time you kept saying Casey Jones, I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
yeah, Casey
Yes.
Jones,
No.
man.
Okay, I got you.
No, but
sorry.
no. I was just going to say it's like it was a kind of like a weird setup as far as for how some of the actors were. But go ahead, Cypher. I'm sorry.
No. I just, as soon as he said Casey Jones again, and you were mentioning the guy from Law and Order, it clicked in my head what he was talking about. So I was like, oh, okay. I think the only thing that I was expecting that I never saw in this movie. Well, okay, I take that back. There were a couple things. Maybe a cohesive storyline was part of it, but
Yeah.
one
April
of the
O'Neil.
things, or April O'Neil, exactly.
April
Some
O'Neil.
sewers.
Yeah, Splinter.
But one of the things I think that I was like expecting is, okay, when's Edward Cullen gonna show up, and when is the crossover gonna happen?
All
with
right.
the
Y'all
characters?
need to stop with the Twilight jokes, okay? I happen to like Twilight. I'm just letting
No,
you know that.
I do too. I think beat per beat, Twilight was a better movie.
It was more
And I regret saying that phrase as a
Ooh,
pasty
boy.
white old man, but I'm just saying, like I feel like there was more personality portrayed in that movie, even though most of them looked like they had resting bitch face the whole time.
Yes. That was the part of the charm of it. So Christopher Maloney, is the guy from Law and Order that plays Stabler, and you know, as a young actor, both of them and Elias is Cotes, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Sure.
Yeah, something.
Sure,
Cotes,
whatever, right?
Cotes,
Okay,
yeah.
so they were always kind of vying for kind of like the same. I wouldn't say the same role because I don't think they're exactly the same age, but that look though has been, you know, their looks and stuff like that have matched, especially as they've gotten older. And it's so funny because, what movie was he was in Harold and Kumar's
Yeah, he
Quantum.
was the
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he
in the
was.
second.
The
He was in the
Guantanamo.
second one,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that was his real kind of first introduction. And I'm talking about Christopher Maloney. It was his real first introduction for everybody as far as comedy. Whereas with Elias, we always know he could. We always knew he could do comedy. We always knew he could do drama and also um, do horror and stuff like that. So I think that opened a lot for Christopher Maloney. Um, you know, whereas Elias was getting all of these roles that Christopher wanted, and as soon as you did Harold and Kumar, and everybody recognized who he was at that point, he started getting more comedy stuff, and he is just so hilarious. Have you guys ever watched the Peloton commercials that he's in?
No.
I
Maybe.
Yeah, I
think
know
you
you
made
guys
me
are
watch
into
one.
male nudity here, but they are hilarious. Y'all got to watch them on YouTube or whatever, because he's hilarious in them.
I'll have to check that out.
So that's why I like seeing Elias, because it reminds me so much of, you know, Christopher Maloney that plays Stabler. And I just thought I would see that in this movie, and I didn't see his little comedic stuff. They didn't put anything in there to show his comedic side, and that was a disservice to the character. They played it too straight with him.
That's I think that was an issue. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show started, but I think that was the same thing we ran into with some other folks as well. Is just it felt like they either played it safe or the person just didn't really dive into the characters maybe the way that you would hope they would, or that you would expect from maybe some of the other films you've seen him in, which you know, I mean, just a bit of a missed opportunity for some of the folks that were in it. But it's
I mean,
especially with the pedigree that some of the folks have.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I didn't even recognize Kim Coates.
Dude,
No.
I didn't initially until I saw his little soul patch, and then I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, why is Kim Coates Legolas from Lord of the Rings in
Yeah.
a werewolf movie?
Yeah.
But you know, and it felt like a missed opportunity with him too, and the fact that
Yeah.
like you see how broad a range he has when you see
Mhm.
something like Sons of Anarchy, seeing
Yeah.
that character Tig throughout all those seasons, and then to see him in something like this where he's really just a like partial role or like a support role, you're like, man, I wish they could have done more with that character.
Yeah. But wait a minute, I want to make sure of this. But I could have swore he was in another movie where he played a really dramatic role in it. Yeah, he was in Silent Hill. He was the officer in Silent Hill and stuff like that. And for a not for not a huge part, I know it was kind of like a medium role or whatever. He was in some good shots, but he had a really good presence in that movie as an officer, which is, you know, it's kind of sometimes hard to do that, to be this, you know, individual that comes in part way into a movie, and you can get lost in that role compared to all of these other actors that are doing so much more, have so many more lines and have a deeper part to them. And he was able to, in a few shots, really convey where he was and what happened to everything, and then kind of secure the fact that, in reality, he was kind of in between that life and death world that was going on in Silent Hill. And for him to be in this and not convey his presence, like halfway through the movie, I realized who he was,
Yeah.
which is not normal for him. It's
No,
not
well,
normal.
'cause he had so few lines too. Like it
Yeah.
again, I hate sounding like a broken record or something, but it feels like a missed opportunity type of thing. With someone like him, because he does do such a good job if you let him really like digest a role and play that character.
So let's get to the most disappointing role in this film. Come on, Cypher.
All right,
Say it.
okay. I won't say it the way that I said off air because it was maybe a little mean. But Rona Mitra, I felt like that was phoned in. I felt like someone had a life scale version of Rona Mitra for the film, and they were just puppeting Rona Mitra for the film because she just felt so. And I apologize because, like, maybe she had a blast with it, or maybe she was just having a bad time because of circumstances or something. But it felt like she wasn't having any fun with it.
Yeah.
And she just felt very emotionless,
Yeah.
which was a bummer because we've seen her do other films where she can do those things very well. This was not that. Like, this was not that.
I mean, look at Doomsday. Look at Doomsday. Did she have a very stoic kind of demeanor in that film? Absolutely. But the emotion still came out. You could still see. And the other thing that I missed was the action scenes. Like, there were hardly any action scenes with her, and she used the gun the whole time. And I'm like, that's not her characters. So I don't know if this was something that she had to commit to, or if she wasn't allowed to, do her normal stuff that she normally does, like her normal stunts and everything, because she's really good.
Yeah.
And I just felt that was most disappointing.
I think like when you watch through this film, anyone who's in chat, if you haven't watched this film yet, I would encourage watch it, watch the characters and stuff, and get the experience also, so you know what we're kind of talking about. But like, I think just from the presence and just like the atmosphere of the show and the vibe, it felt like Jason Bear and Elias Koteas were the two that were really having the most fun with this movie. It felt like they were really like just enjoying their time with it and really putting some time into it. It felt like some of the other folks it did kind of feel like, hey, we were brought on because we had a friend that wanted a role filled, which is fine. It didn't feel as personable. The other person that did a really good job was Tom Jackson, which was Will, the one that kind of helped them with their. I guess he kind of helped them with like getting into their protective bondage suits on the walls of the car. He did a really good job as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, besides the ones we've already mentioned, one of the other actors that has had some good roles, actually two of them. So Jason Bear was in this. As you know, he's the one from Roswell and everything. And then Sean Roberts was in this, the one that played Adam. He was Whisker in the Resident Evil movies. So he's had some really, really outstanding roles too. So with all this star power, I'm just wondering what happened.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Isn't he coming to New Jersey HorrorCon or something? Sean Roberts? Or someone from Resident Evil.
Maybe it's Jake the Snake Roberts.
Maybe. Well, I thought he passed away.
No.
No, he didn't.
No, he's
No.
still alive and kicking, but he's
Okay.
Macho Man.
in bad show.
I haven't watched wrestling in like years.
Me either. I
decades.
stopped. I stopped when it was still good, which was back in the 90s.
It was back in
Damn. Well, I'm going to represent all the wrestling nerds out there because I still watch it.
the 90s.
Suck it, guys.
You get on with your bad self. No, so to highlight Fee, what you mentioned, so obviously Jason Behr as Roswell. Roswell is what I grew up with him in as Max Evans. That was always a real cool character for me. Of course, I was a teenager at the time, so I'm sure if I went back and I watched it now, maybe it doesn't hold up as well. But I have really good memories of that TV show with him in it. And I was always really happy to see him in other films as time went on. Like he was in The Grudge, which unfortunately his character met a very quick and untimely demise, or just kind of a weak demise in that film. Made me sad, but it's always cool to see him in some stuff. I've always felt like he could do a lot more and doesn't. He ends up in a lot of these kind of like lower to mid budget. The Tattooist was an interesting one that he was in also. But yeah, no, it was a really good cast. Like I gotta give him credit. As soon as I saw Lionsgate pop up at the beginning of the film, I was like, oh, okay, there's a budget behind it. And there are some good folks in it for sure. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that besides just stroking Jason Behr's ego. So
Well, what did you guys think of the I guess the visual effects or the makeup or
oh boy.
So lame. Like yeah, my apologies. When I think of a werewolf movie, like I'm expecting, especially now with like a good transformation, like a badass looking werewolf, like whether it's a dog soldiers kind of werewolf, whether it's an underworld werewolf, like I love werewolves. And it almost seems like they like halfway transform. Like the one scene towards the end when they're in like the industrial manufacturing plant, it's funny because the guys are like werewolf, their face, their arms, but yet the girl in like the bikini top with denim jacket, like her chest isn't sunken in like the males or anything. Like if anything, it sticks out more. And it's just like, okay, so the female werewolf doesn't really get transformed as much as the male werewolf, or at least in this scene. But yeah, I was really hoping for that first reveal when you see the werewolf, just kind of like, all right, like, you know, you kind of see the like they're screaming, it's painful, they don't like transforming, like kind of thing, where this was just kind of like, to me it just kind of seemed instant. It was just like, okay, human, boom, now I'm a werewolf. And it's like, well, that's like a wish werewolf, like that's not really a full werewolf. That's just like
dude,
like you looked more like their faces looked like the lion from Wizard of Oz more than a werewolf.
Yes. And the women's faces, like out of all the change that I feel like we saw, the women's
nose
faces changed the most. Yeah, the nose suddenly was like 5 inches longer. It's like
it went from the forehead.
Yeah, we had like Pinocchio werewolves. And I was like, I'm not sure what we're doing there, but that's fine.
It's like, is that a werewolf or is that Botox? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sorry. I won't go there. But I agree.
And they really didn't get like more muscular or ripped. Like they just kind of stayed in their same clothes. Like
it was kind of funky looking.
Yeah, it just they looked like lions more than werewolves, I guess. It felt flat. And then I was hoping that maybe like, okay, maybe like the one werewolf gang's the good guys, so they don't fully transform, but the bad guys, like, yeah, when they transform, they're gonna be badass, these huge buff werewolves. And it was like, nah. No. Okay, thanks.
I think I would have respected it more if they made the quote unquote bad werewolves into like actual wolves or something, like more leaning towards the wolf end of things than the human side of things, and you can have the good guys kind of more human like if they had even had that kind of split, it would have probably worked out a little bit better. But it just felt like kind of like you said, it was like a wish order costume, or costumes from Temu or something, where it just I Lionsgate, yeah, they should have a much better budget compared to a lot of other smaller titles, but it feels like they went the bare minimum. And I hate seeing that on like the visual effects stuff, but it didn't even feel right. Like I don't know. I'm used to seeing like not just the elongated teeth, but some sort of curling over, and like you said, the transformation is usually like a painful thing, and they didn't show any like claws ripping through their skin, or the clothes tear because they're transforming. No, just it was like, oh, turn one way, human face, the other way, hairy lion Timu face. So yeah,
Yeah.
It was more like they were turning into like vampires. You know how vampires change from their, kind of like appearance, their normal human appearance, and then they show the scary face. It was kind of more like that than it was a werewolf transformation.
Yeah.
Oh no, I saw those faces, and all I could think is that they hired the person for the visual effects from the TV series Animorphs, because those werewolves looked like the freaking Animorphs, like that Sean Ashmore and those guys were in that TV series of way back in the day, because the eyes just expanded bigger was kind of like the big effect was, hey, look, I photoshopped the eyes to be bigger. But it was something. It was something. You don't see that exact effect in many other movies.
Yeah. So we had a couple of action scenes that were not that weren't just a shootout. There were action scenes, but they weren't like associated with. I'm not talking about the shootout at the hospital or anything like that. It's more towards the end and everything. So one of them, of course, is is in the train, right?
We're missing a whole point before we get there.
So, come on.
This movie came out in 2006, okay? My man in the beginning is carrying around a VHS tape in the movie. Like, DVDs came out in 1997. And yet this guy, 9 years later, has that VHS tape he's shaking around in the beginning of the movie.
Hey man, to be fair, okay, we still had VHS at Hollywood Video that we were renting out to people in 2006.
Well, maybe that's why he was so angry. He was just looking for a VHS player to see what was on the tape. Like, he didn't really want the boy.
Maybe the tape tore, and so he was aggravated because he couldn't go back and watch it, or someone rewound it too many times, so it was too fuzzy to go back and watch.
He's like, I need someone to convert this. This boy can help me. That's what the whole movie was about.
That's what the search was all about. Yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler. Whoever didn't see the movie.
VHS.
In search of VHS.
But now it makes more sense. This movie actually.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was just like, "Are you serious?" Like, okay, I guess it makes sense a little because, like, if he has like a CD disc in a case, you're like, "Oh, he's just looking to take over the world," kind of thing. Where a VHS tape is like, "Ooh, shit, there's some shit on that like,
bro
can't wait to see."
This makes so much more sense. King Styles mentions it in the chat, but this movie is like a combination of oh goodness, freaking yeah, Be Kind Rewind, and also that Glittery Vampires movie. And now I'm drawing a blank.
Literally,
you mean Twilight?
Yeah, Twilight. There we go. Sorry, I try and wipe it from my brain as soon as I'm done thinking about Twilight. Sorry. Yeah, so Twilight combined with Be Kind Rewind. except 100% less Jack Black, unfortunately.
I just can't get past the shootouts. Like I just want to touch on that real quick. Like
How cheesy they were. Pew pew
Yeah,
pew pew.
the stormtroopers shoot better than these werewolves. Like this is why I guess werewolves don't typically have guns. Usually the humans hunting them have the guns or something, but it's like it just felt like, hey, there's a lot of bullets flying and nobody's getting hit. Oh, wait, one person got hit. Oh man, and they're not going to make it. It's like, come on.
How many bullets did that old lady take? I think she was the only person who ever got shot throughout the majority of the movie. I think she got shot like 40 times.
Yeah. It took the final one to the head, but she blew up a gas station and nobody got hurt. Really?
Yeah.
Well, there was that guy, the werewolf standing out in the open with 2 guns in his hands, just never got hit. And somehow everyone in the town had a gun. Like, it was just like the guy behind the counter, like making a coffee, just like, oh, there's a shootout. Let me get my shotgun and walk out. Or, oh, this is happening. Let me get my shotgun. Stay here. And then, like, just like, holy shit. And then the girl vampire werewolf, like, how many times was she going to cock her shotgun to, like, hear the click? It's like, you did it once. Oh, did you forget to do it? Click it again. Okay. Like, you're being dramatic.
Okay. So this brings up one of my favorite parts of this movie, I think. It's partly a quote, but it's also just a scene. But the phrasing, "I'll explain later, but right now, learn how to reload a gun." Okay, so the old lady tells this little kid, you know, "I'll teach you later, but learn how to reload a gun." What? Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I was given a jigsaw or something when I was a kid, like a jigsaw puzzle to figure out. No one ever was like, "Yo, here's a gun. Figure out how to load it and shoot it properly." Like, what?
But he did somehow. Like he
almost did, because I think he finally got like 1 or 2 bullets into it at the very last part of the fight. Man, what? Sorry.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. It was a bit strange to be like, "Grandma, what are you handing me this gun for?" "Learn to reload it." Okay. I dropped all the rounds on the ground. I guess I didn't learn, but no, for a town that was supposed to be preparing to be hunted, I guess, or for the bad werewolves to come to town, kind of thing. They didn't have a lookout. Their sheriffs didn't have bulletproof vests, or have like checkpoints or nothing. No, just I don't know. It was like as if the stormtroopers were the ones shooting at the rebels, and everybody missed until the end, and then grandma's not going to make it. Get on the truck.
Everyone was shooting blank.
You got werewolf sex that happened in the movie, just no werewolf boobs. That was just kind of like a random scene. It was just like werewolves doing it.
Well, that was literally just to show off that Jason Bear is still in like insane condition and shape 20 plus years later. Because like that was the only thing we saw. We didn't see the lady. We just saw Jason Bear's naked ass and his extremely built back. That's all we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel cheated?
Me?
Yeah.
No. When I no, dude. When I saw that, I was like, God damn it! When I saw Roswell as a teenager, that asshole caused body shame issues back then, because I was like, holy crap, the dude's got like an 8-pack. And then 20 plus years later, I'm still a hot mess. Chunkadunk, and I look and he's got like a 10-pack now. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Maybe he really doesn't, and that's what
time is supposed to catch up with you, and it's not catching up with him, and that makes me very, very angry.
No, they definitely should have had more werewolf boobs or something like that, but
more? How about one?
Yeah.
Just
about one.
it had Pinocchio nipples since like the nose was over accentuated. You'd get like national Nat Geo nipples.
No,
Sorry, I'm gonna go back to my corner now.
no, but it definitely some of these scenes, as far as like when it came to action, from the guns, the gunfight times, it felt like it was badly scripted or just not what you would expect in a town that's knowing that hunters are coming and supposedly being prepared, and we got an escape plan in this 1940 van that apparently is more bulletproof than all the other vehicles in town, but somehow it's at the last minute trying to get everybody on there, as opposed to just use that bulletproof van to run over the other one shooting at you. But that's me thinking outside the box, I guess. I don't know.
That little boy that they were protecting, he was such a horny kid. When he was in the hospital, he just kept shooting line after line after the nurse, and like finally his mom said something, and he's like, "What? I'm 12 or something." And I'm just like, what would happen if she'd been like, "Yo, let's do this"? Like, he wouldn't know what the hell to do.
Man, Homie was trying to get way more action than you'd expect a 12-year-old to get. Like me as a 12-year-old, I was going home to play Mortal Kombat and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I was not concerned about getting some action.
And the thing is, like, this is like towards the end, so like he knows there's people trying to kill him. Like, I don't know if he's trying to lose his virginity card. Like, hey, it's been a good run, but I at least gotta get it in once before I get just in case I get whacked. I want to get it in and tell my friends about it.
Just in case I get whacked, I want to make sure I get whacked real quick.
And she was the nurse was like kind of playing, "Oh, you're so cute," like kind of thing. And
and mom's in the room, like
deviant.
The mom definitely was in the room.
I don't know. I could see me trying to do stuff like that or when my dad's in the room, but when mom's in the room, it's probably not, because I don't know. I'm afraid I might get smacked in the head for being fresh or something. I don't know, but
your mom would have smacked you in the head.
Yeah, more likely.
Your sister would have smacked you in the head too.
I mean,
sometimes we deserve it, to be fair.
And then, so while we're talking about the hospital scene, did you take, at least it bothered the hell out of me. So all of a sudden they're in the hospital and they're having this shootout. The bad werewolves, the good werewolves. They're having a shootout. People are running, screaming kind of thing. But once they get outside, it looked like it was a school and not a hospital. And yet, for all this people shooting guns, some people dying in the hospital, not one person ran out the front door. You heard no commotion, no cops. Like, it was just pitch silent in front of a school. That's what it reminded me of. Like, that wasn't a hospital. It's like he forgot that there was a shootout.
Yeah, there should have been more commotion. People trying to, run for their lives, kind of thing. Get out the door, get out the way. No, it
just ended. It was like a whole new scene.
Pull the truck up.
Yeah, like take a hostage, kill a hostage, something. But it was just like, okay, move on. Scene, next scene, and it's just like, okay, I guess. I mean, it was. Like you guys said, when I was looking at the cast, I was like, okay, like this could have some promise. Like, go feed, and sure enough, you come in clutch like always.
I mean, to be fair, Fee may have told us that we were going to watch this movie, but I don't think any of us could have expected that we were going to wind up watching Terminator 2.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it went from Jeepers Creepers, because that van, or whatever you want to call it, was like total Jeepers Creepers, and Jeepers Creepers came out in 2001, so like they could have got inspired by that. But yeah, like you said, Terminator 2. Towards the end, I'm like, oh look, there's John Connor. Oh, there's the Terminator. Like, and I'm just like,
there's the Terminators fighting while the mom tries to get her kid away. There's the mom that's got the shotgun that shoots the bad guy. Like beat per beat, beat per beat. I was like, my goodness, homie, like watched Cameron's films very thoroughly and took some liberties for sure.
But at the same time, it's like he couldn't do all the scenes because he didn't have the budget for it. So it's
True.
like they cut costs at some of it, where it's like, well, we can't do that. Okay, let's do this instead. And yeah, basically that's the whole vibe I got the last like 15, 20 minutes. I was just like, Terminator 2, watching Terminator 2. And
Dun, 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 dun.
I was
All right. So let's
shocked.
back up a little bit.
Sorry.
A little
overshot.
bit. We jumped
I
right to the end.
And let's talk about the missed opportunity with kidnapping the girl.
Yeah.
Like, we saw nothing, almost nothing. Like, how did she get up there? Would you stop for me?
Sorry.
My cat is trying to, like, touch the screen, and he's trying to pat whoever's talking.
He wants to chime in.
Exactly.
It's like, I watched this shitty movie too. Let me talk about it.
He definitely watched it with me, trust me.
Gonna have nightmares, poor cat.
But no, seriously, the missed opportunity to see what was going on. Like, we see her kidnapped, we see the conflict because, you know, this is Elias's, you know, his character's daughter. It's also the love interest of Adam, and we basically see nothing of her torment, of her, you know, I understand leaving a little guessing and stuff like that, but they could have showed something of why she was, you know, up there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to give us the tidbit that we find out in the train, but they could have at least, you know, figured out, you know, kind of showed us what was happening a little bit. Like, that was a missed opportunity of action.
They spent the budget that they were going to use on that on the bullets that they used in the town scene.
They must have also blew the budget on character development, because I was just like, give him the fucking kid. I don't even care at this point. Like this
that
kid
was the other
brings
guy's
nothing of
daughter.
value.
Yeah. It's weird because it was like a family circle. It's like he's kidnapping his, what I would assume is his niece at this point. Because aren't they brothers? So he's kidnapping his niece.
Creepy.
And trying to hunt his son.
Creepy.
Yeah, it kind of felt like maybe there were some inter-family relations at some point in that, because like when you find out that that makes it better. Yeah, no, that's
he didn't actually know it was his kid.
So he also took reference from Star Wars, because we see Luke and Leia find out that they're siblings. Okay, I got you.
Yes.
I feel like there was some weird hinting at maybe some family relations there. Being like, oops.
But
oops, we had kids with our family.
Again.
See, what I didn't understand was this, okay?
Why you made us watch it.
Anyway. What I didn't understand, I got the whole lore that they were trying to do and everything, and the whole points of lore. But what I didn't understand was why specifically did they turn Valak? You know, Valak had obviously a wife. He might not have known that his wife was pregnant. And we're not even going to get into that. How do you have a werewolf and a human have a child in the first place? But because there was no lore for that. Nothing in there about how that works. So, but why Valak? Because he was in his home when it happened. So why specifically? That could have been a plot point, and they missed out on that too.
Yeah. They they failed. It's like what Presto said earlier. They failed to do any character development to the point where most of the characters were like, I don't really care what happens. I guess because I don't know what your story is and why I should be rooting for you anyways.
Exactly.
Thank you, Cypher.
So yes, we can talk about the ending. Anybody want to
go? I'll wait.
All right, come on. Let's say the good points about the ending and the not so good points. Who wants to start first?
Well, the good point obviously was when the ending happened, and we didn't have to watch any more of it.
Oh, the credits! Yay!
The bad point was I had to watch it to get to the ending. So that's my point. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I think the very, very ends where the boy is talking and he's explaining, how he is now impacting the werewolf community. Apparently, I thought that was a little nice touch.
A little nice touch, not even a nice touch, just a little. Like
it was his Sarah Connor moment.
Yeah, was that like a 7.5 nice touch or?
Oh shit!
What would you give that? Asking for a friend?
Anyway, so what was it about the ending that kind of missed the mark?
Well, I don't think it's fair to say that because it's not like the whole movie was good up until the ending and then no, but for real, it's not like the whole movie was really good and then the ending happened, you're like, oh, that sucked. It really never took off that when it got to the end and it was such a disappointment. To me, it was just kind of well, okay. I guess. Well, I guess we'll talk about this one tonight.
I think it was a missed opportunity not to lower a werewolf into molten hot metal.
I mean, the route they were going, they definitely needed something there.
But in a serious note, because I could dunk on it. There were definitely some discrepancies with the film, and again, it's like we talked about at the beginning. Is it wasn't horrible. There were missed opportunities, especially given the pretty solid cast of people that they had for the film. I think that was one of the things that I was kind of sad about. Is just there were a lot of good people in this, and it didn't feel like they were utilized. Maybe, or that some of them were having as much fun as maybe they could have with the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, that's maybe why you may hear me shitting on this one a little bit, because with the cast, I had higher hopes of what to expect.
Yes.
And when it fell short, it was the other movies are well, they really don't have anyone well known. So it's kind of, okay, it sucked because, that was part of it. But this, when you looked at the cast, it's all right, it has 3 people I know for sure. And then as I looked up more, I was oh, I know them in that. I know them in that. So it's all right, this should definitely be a solid movie. Yeah, a solid one. And it wasn't.
It was a disappointment.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. It was fun. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as some of the films we've seen.
That's true.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
This wasn't
thing we say every week.
I mean, it didn't make me mad as with the predictable stuff, but it was how did they scope out these these other places that they were going to, like the cave, which they thought would be a safe spot, which I can't imagine the cave being the greatest spot to protect yourself and whatnot. But I guess they were going to still keep them.
Wait.
Yeah, but I guess they were supposed to be locked up in the van or something. It just felt weird with the cave.
Did you fall asleep though?
No. I was able to stay awake. I think there was just some. I think it was more so me looking forward to the credits part, but like when they went to the industrial spot, it's like, oh, it locks from the inside. It's like, well, how many people know or would know to say, hey, you know what? If we ever get hunted, our final like, protectable zone is this where you can be locked in a cage. Oh, but by the way, in case they jump on the roof, be ready for them to break in. Like,
Yeah.
that was a lot of, I guess, early reconnaissance that they didn't or kind of did and didn't fully flesh out or whatever. But it just felt weird that it was going to the industrial spot and like you guys said, that they didn't have that bat of molten metal to like dunk one of the werewolves in,
I didn't get the
and then
thumbs
find out
up,
they
and I
got
was
like
disappointed.
adamantium, like some sort of metal skeleton underneath or whatever. But
Yep.
the climax for this movie just it didn't quite deliver. But then
There was no climax. All right, let's not be around the bush. You didn't even have a chub. All right, let's just.
I thought it was disappointing.
Who, Fuzzy or the movie?
oh
Fuzzy doesn't disappoint.
Okay,
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just trying to be on the same page with everyone, so I'm just asking questions. All right,
Damn,
I don't want to assume anything.
Presto is going for the freaking throat today. My goodness.
Nobody's safe.
No,
everybody can get it.
I thought it was disappointing that she was using a gun. Like, this is a woman that has more stunt capability than that, and she's using a gun. I mean,
What's the point of being a werewolf?
Maybe that's why she seemed so disappointed in the role.
Yeah.
Is because they're like, no, you're not doing any action scenes. We can't afford that in the budget. You're going to shoot blanks at nothing.
Yeah,
she's like, really? That's what you brought me here for? Like, maybe that was part of it. Who knows?
So
like, if there's any woman out there besides Kate Beckinsale and maybe a couple others like Cynthia Rothrock or whatever that could take on a werewolf barehanded, you'd think it would be her. And yet,
I was expecting a very sexy battle, and that never happened. Just saying.
So instead of a cat fight, a were fight,
an animorph fight.
Somehow, Fee still manages to catfish us every week with these movies. It's just like, you still got it, Fee. More credit to you.
You do realize you can suggest movies, right?
Yeah, but when I did, everyone gave it like an 8.9 besides you. And I just thought it looked bad if I just know good movies and you don't. So.
I was not offended.
That's good.
My eyes were offended a little bit.
Well, what was that?
I think
that
your
other
heart
movie?
was more disappointed than your eyes.
My heart was disappointed. Yes.
What was the other werewolf movie that we watched? Was that Dog Soldiers or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was better than that. But
what? Yo, Fuzz. Yo, Dog Soldiers is a classic. Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
Fee, control this guy.
that was a shock to me too. I am shocked. Like, I don't know what to do with Fuzzy now.
Dog Soldiers had it was okay, but it just, there was some weirdness to it, and the fact that they couldn't get to the other vehicle without knowing it was a setup, and blowing up the house through the gas line and whatnot. I mean, I will give it that Dog Soldiers definitely had more action, and delivered in that regard.
And how about the werewolves looked like a werewolf? Maybe.
Yeah.
Give us that.
It was a better werewolf movie, but now that I think about it, there
We changed his mind so quick.
Now,
Yeah, because
now that I got blasted,
well, no, because
Now that I
they
remember
did
what
have a
Dog
better
Soldiers
werewolf
actually
look,
was.
and there was more action in the whole one.
And you know what? Actually, the whole movie was better. You don't even know Dog Soldiers. You were sleeping.
Fuzzy just wanted attention.
Yeah, he's just like,
He just
I'm
wanted
gonna,
attention.
no matter what they say next, I'm gonna disagree. And then you call him out, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right. I was just fucking around, guys. My bad.
JK
I told
guys.
you,
Yeah.
attention.
Gotcha.
Where's Ashton? He's hiding here somewhere.
Yeah. All right, Fuzz, you done pulling that rabbit out of your hat?
Yeah. Well, well, it's better than the summer camp thing. So that
Well, I mean,
that stays. But then again, I think
See,
I mean, that's your crutch.
He's
You could say that
reverting.
about anything. Anything
He's
bad that
reverting.
happens in life. Just say,
I know,
well,
but he's distracting us. He's distracting us right now. He's like,
like,
I'm
I
gonna
ate
get
a
out of
spoiled
hot
egg
water.
sandwich. Yeah, that was better than summer camp.
Yeah. Skinwalkers, better than food poisoning.
yeah, I mean, I had food poisoning last week, so it definitely was better than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd much rather watch Skinwalkers than go through that.
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
Although I did watch the whole O.J. Simpson documentary on Netflix in the bathroom in one sitting because of that. So it gave me something to do, I guess.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
Here's how I would have done it if I did it.
I love how
You can do it.
Netflix, though, whenever
Matt's
they
like,
do
man, I
those,
wish I had that glove right now because I'm running out of TP.
Yeah.
it's a decent documentary. I suggest checking it out. And Netflix always knows how to twist the shit because, like, they always do the, like, watch the first episode and it's like, oh, he's totally fucking guilty. And then the second episode, you're like, of course he didn't do it. Like, how could they even try him? Then the third episode, you're just like, yeah, fuck his family members. And then the fourth one, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I still don't know if he did it or not, but this was fun. So shout out to OJ. Sorry you're not going to be there to watch the Super Bowl this weekend. But
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah, I
Go
know about
Birds.
that.
I don't know how to follow that up.
So Skinwalkers, skin crawlers, or creepy crawlers. It's a good movie.
Yes. Okay. So I guess we should go to that. I think Presto was about to say it. What would you guys rate this? Fee. What would you
Oh
rate
my
it?
gosh. Why I always gotta go
Oh
first?
my gosh.
Oh
Total
my
8.1.
Well, someone else is washing their dishes right now. So I figured I'd give you the opportunity while they finish that up.
Yeah, Fee. What would you give it?
So I am a little disappointed by a few things in this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, plot's not one of them. It was really the actors phoning everything in and them not utilizing them as they could have. If you're gonna make a movie, really consider your budget and really place the needed money where it should go. If that means you have to get somebody that's not a name, do the legwork to find somebody that can be in that position rather than the name. Like, I've seen some really good actors out there that don't have a name, and I wish I would see them more, but unfortunately they didn't get their big break.
Well, yeah.
So I just think that's the budget really wasn't considered in this, and they should have found either more money or they should have done something differently. And I think that's why I really am feeling under 6 for this, like a 5.5 for that.
Wow. I mean,
It's not a
I sit.
7.
All right.
I see your point though. Like, I guess if you're making a movie, sometimes you're put in that position where it's like, do I use this extra money to hire a bigger name person and hope that they bring attention to the film so people watch it? Like you said, Kim Coates or something, like, ooh, that's a big name. Like, I want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Or do you spend it on the budget where, you know, your practical effects, your set designs, you could really like do some magic with that. And unfortunately, this one, it appears they all went with the money for the cast. Like, even when they were driving in the cars, and there was always those like fake backgrounds that they were like driving. It was so cheesy. So, I guess if I got to rate this, it wasn't horrible. Like, it wasn't like I watched it where I was just like, oh, like, what a waste of time. I just felt it just never picked up enough where it was like, oh, that was awesome. So, like we said a couple of times, a lot of missed opportunities. So, with that, I give it a 5.1. I can't say I liked it more than Fee because that'd be wrong. So 5.1 it is.
Okay. Fuzzy, where are you sitting?
I'm kind of at the middle of the road. I give it a 5. It's watchable. I didn't fall asleep, but kind of like the sentiment that you guys said before. If they gave up the kid and all of them died at the end, I would probably say that's a better ending. I don't know. Is it worth watching? If you're definitely looking to binge a lot of, werewolf films, yeah, add this to the queue. But you probably should start with this one, so everything else is a highlight after that. And then finish up with, I guess, Underworld or something along those lines, which this ain't Underworld, not even remotely close. So that's, a solid 5, middle of the road, watchable, nothing to write home to or write home about. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I think I'm going to be the lowest one on this one today. I feel like IMDb doesn't always hit it on the head, but I think they gave it around a 4.5. I think that's probably where I sit with it. That again, really good cast, and there were some really good opportunities where they could have gone somewhere with it. I just feel like those opportunities were missed. Focused on other things. Again, like you guys were mentioning, maybe dial back some of the names that were in it to focus on the actual budget and character development for other characters, or maybe take out some of the special effects, which there were very few, but like there could have been some things that could have been tweaked to maybe make it a better experience. It just didn't hit the mark that maybe any of us were hoping.
Yeah. So for those interested in this movie or at least one to see, check it out. Yeah. More power to you to check it out, but don't go in with high expectations. Probably, I guess, the best preface for it, and have plenty of popcorn and soda to kind of, carry you through.
Plenty of popcorn and soda, so you keep getting up to take a piss, so you forget how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say, because like, even though it was bad, I definitely still recommend watching it, because I think we've talked about it previously, is not everyone's always on the same page with these things. Our opinions might be different than yours. Don't take it from us. You can watch it on Tubi for free. So if you want to give it a shot, go for it. It's there for you, and you don't have to watch it all in one sitting. You can dole it out as you go, or whatever works best for you.
And the thing is that if you're trying to find something to maybe watch that's horror related, I don't really see this as being horror. I see it more as fantasy. But if it's like an introduction where you want to share something with your child or something like that, I mean, this is a good introduction. You don't have a lot of gore. You don't have really that much nudity in this. I mean, come on. So I think it's a good thing for, maybe a teenager or something like that with
Like you don't
horror
want them to
parent.
see boobs, but you still want them to kind of know how sex works. So you let them watch this movie.
I mean, you want to know. You want the teenager to know, okay? You don't want them finding out from anybody else. It's a good way to do a segue into the birds and the bees. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say this is a good option for that, but
It's
yeah,
starter,
I'd say maybe we're using good a little too liberally there, but
Yeah, I mean, it was unique. I'll say unique, not good.
Yeah.
A unique opportunity that you can cash in on with a teenager, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if to be honest, I don't know if my daughter would actually watch through this. Like I could see her watching for a little bit, but I just
and getting bored.
yeah, just because
It was a little
again, it's
boring.
like you were saying, is there just wasn't a lot of action. There wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of stuff to keep you engaged. So I like if we were struggling to watch it, I don't know if I could get my 15-year-old to be like, yes, sign me up for an hour and a half of that.
No, it was a 2-hour movie.
Was it 2 hours? Oh my
It was
God.
1 hour and 50 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, you punked us.
Well,
I guess
you know what?
I guess
I'm gonna say
the
this.
alcohol made it better. So
I'm gonna say this for being over an hour and a half. It didn't feel as long as what was the other movie that we did the comparison? Salem's Lot. Didn't feel like that, did it?
oh, man.
I mean, Salem's Lot was like 15 hours, so you really can't compare those two.
Yeah.
Like,
Salem's Lot was an entire road trip with the family and the kids kicking the back of your seat the whole
Are we
way.
there yet?
yeah,
Are we
like,
there yet?
I mean, that's like saying, like, to be fair, the Grinch didn't seem as bad as watching the Titanic, and it's like, oh, you're so right, Fee. Like no,
Again, to highlight, this movie not as bad as food poisoning.
yes, that should be the slogan.
And
Yeah.
Not as
not
bad
as
as food.
bad. Wait a minute. Not as bad as what movie?
Summer camp, sleepaway,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Underground.
I told you that's not
Wait a
fair.
minute.
Oh, that
I
was your
admit it.
7, wasn't it? Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, you like that Summer Camp Massacre better than this movie.
Didn't I gave it a 4 something?
Mm-hmm.
4
Mhm.
stars, maybe out of 4. But
Oh,
you definitely like that movie. Don't lie.
yeah.
Don't fib. The people know.
All right.
But
So
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out though. Like I know, especially me, I may rip on some movies kind of hard, but this one wasn't as bad. It just never really picked up. Safe to say, people.
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So let's debate since it's 7:27. We have a little bit of room. Let's debate. Does Thriller count as horror?
Michael Jackson's Thriller?
No.
I'll let you guys go and then I'll jump in.
I guess that's a very loose term you can use because like a thriller, it's supposed to get your heart pumping, like, you're shocked, you're scared, you're happy, you jump. So like it has aspects of a horror movie. And then like, depending on what you consider a thriller, like I think isn't Smiles considered a thriller, but then you have like Strange Darling, which is a thriller, but like also a horror. So it's like they kind of go hand in hand with some aspect. So, and it seems like some thrillers have a little bit of horror in them, maybe. Like with the Josh Hartnett movie Trap, that's like a thriller, but it could be a bit of a horror movie, just like a more mellow horror movie, I guess. So In conclusion, I totally forget what your question was.
Isn't
we were
it
talking
like
about burritos.
yeah?
Yeah, beans, white rice, queso, usual.
I think it's safe to say a thriller can be horror, but not all horror are thrillers, or is it? Or no, wait.
Yeah.
Not all thrillers are horror, but all horror. I forgot what I was trying to say.
I know what you mean. It sounded better in your mind, but then when
Yeah.
you start putting out the words, you're like, shit.
I think you're trying to say you have a wonderful wife and you're very happy you met her.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
Thanks.
I agree with you guys.
That Fuzz
I
has
think-
an amazing wife.
Yes, that Fuzz has an amazing wife. Exactly. No, my wife and I have this conversation. It's not like an argument or a fight or anything, but occasionally we bicker about it. It's like, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to watch a movie. Do you want to watch with me? She's like, sure. What genre are we watching? And I'll be like, I don't know, maybe some horror. And then she's like, well, I don't think I could do horror, but I could do a thriller. But then when I go into something like Voodoo or Fandango now, or I go into Netflix or some of those, they usually lump the two genres together under one category. So in absence of horror, they usually just put it all under thriller and vice versa. Instead of putting it under like action or some of those other ones. So for them, like I guess that's an interchangeable. For me, I would definitely say there's a difference, especially having worked in the industry for a little bit and having to deal with separating stuff out by genre. There's definitely a difference to me, but I understand how they could be interchangeable as well.
Is working in the industry just like a fancy way of saying you worked at Blockbuster?
This reminds me of Half Baked. When Dave Chappelle is like, I'm a master of the custodial arts, or a janitor if you want to be a dick about it. I feel like that's the same situation right now, Presto. You're calling me out on my bullshit.
I mean, it could have been like a Hollywood video. I mean, an upscale. Maybe.
It was a Hollywood video. It was a Hollywood video on Game Crazy. We were, we thought we were big shit.
Well, then I guess I could say back when I used to support the business,
AKA when I bought movies for sale.
Yeah, when I used to rent movies and I would rewind like a good person.
You know what? Fine. I was never part of the business. You hurt me, Presto. You hurt me.
I told you no one was safe tonight, so
motherfucker. Damn.
I'm sorry.
I see how it is. No, it's fine.
I'm sure you helped.
I will get you back.
Well,
I rewound those movies like a motherfucker, okay?
And you did a hell of a job.
I helped you. You didn't help me. I helped you.
You're right. And
you're welcome.
I
couldn't have done it without
a good movie
you.
Experience for you. Damn it.
Yeah, where were you? Where were you suggesting all these movies? Now we have Fee. Thanks.
No, but horror and thriller, yeah. I don't know. I think I probably watch more thrillers than horror movies to some extent because they're kind of trying to make everything a thriller to, I guess, not really make them a blockbuster, but at least to garner more revenue in the theaters. Which nowadays it seems like a lot of movies now, if they don't do well within the first opening week or so, it's like, oh, it's straight to streaming at this point. So I find a lot more thrillers, although I'm definitely finding out that there's a lot more horror movies out there than I ever thought. Like discovering things like Tubi and was it Shudder and stuff like that. Now it's like, man, there was a lot of things that flew under the radar as far as movies that I could have been watching all these years, but I don't know.
Well, even you have that.
I tried.
You have that Wolfman that just came out in the movies, but you could already do it on Amazon Prime. Is that Wolfman or? Come on, guys! Are you living under a rock?
Yeah, it's Wolfman. It's in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, already
Yeah.
more of a werewolf movie than what we saw.
That's,
Well, you know,
yeah.
I don't want to make you pay for stuff, you know.
Oh, you make us
Wolfman.
pay! Don't you worry. It's like the guy that bums the cigarettes that gets like the real shitty cigarettes. Like, well, I don't want to charge you for them, so here you go.
Why'd you give me a cigarillo? Damn it.
So,
yeah,
I mean, if that's what you're going with, I'm okay to pay. Like, if these are my options.
in all seriousness, like I know we watched what I think Substance. We watched that pretty quick on. You know, if it ever was something where it's like, hey, we want to go see this thing in theaters, or the only way to get it is to rent it or something. Like I know it limits maybe some of the access on the show for people listening if they haven't had the opportunity, but I'm always for watching whatever. Like even if I gotta pay a few bucks, as long as I don't feel like I'm getting my junk kicked in for an hour and a half, I'm okay with paying $5 to rent a movie.
Especially when they're ones that we could just rent instead of like going to actual movies. Like going to movies could be a little bit more difficult for all of us, but if it's one that, you know, Wolfman, Substance, whatever, that we could easily just, okay, we pay $10, we rent it. That's not bad.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Well, Kaneda will be on for that one.
for which one?
So he said he'll be on for Wolfman if we do it.
Now we got to cater to this guy.
I don't believe he exists.
Yeah.
Still, because I've never seen him. So I don't know.
He's invisible.
We have never been on a single show together, so I have no reason to believe.
Yeah, because he's always like, "Yo, my wife, yo."
He's always like, "Might I suggest this film?" And then I show up, and he's like, "I can't make it."
Cypher's there. I'm out.
Yeah, so maybe it's a me problem, not a him problem.
No, it's not a you problem. Yeah, so it's on so Wolfman is on
Prime.
At the minimum's $19.99 to rent it right now. $25 if you want to do the HD. But it's so funny is that you could buy it for $25 or you could rent it for $20.
That's where they get you. You spend that $5. So you're like, well, what if
Yeah.
I do like it? So then you do it, and you're like, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. The same one for the Skarsgård movie that just came out, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
The same situation.
That was a good movie to put me asleep to.
It put you asleep.
Yeah, I need action movies, man. And this I was watching, I was just like, fuck's sake, like Lily Rose Depp or whatever. Like, her acting was good in this, but it still put me asleep like yoga hosers. So
My God.
I don't have much to complain.
That's fair. That's fair. That was.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking is because I know Cypher suggested one movie that was a thriller, and there was a debate about whether or not it was, in the horror genre. But at the same time, there are other movies that are kind of borderline. They're suspense and drama, but I'm like, what do we list as kind of horror overall?
Suspense and drama. Kind of like a daily day in your life, right, Fuzz?
I thought the conversation about that was more if it was a good movie or not, of which I was like, why does that matter? We've watched some real gems
No,
over time.
it wasn't that. It was, the genre that was listed on it,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't about whether it was good or bad. I'm sorry if that was misconstrued. It was really just about, does it really fit in the horror genre? So I think we as a podcast group have to figure out, do we, if it looks like horror and it's not purely action or purely crime, it has some horror to it. I mean, is it fair game for us?
I mean, what if like one of the main actors in the movie or actresses uh acting is so horrible that and atrocious that you could consider it like a train wreck, which would be a thriller and or horror.
Ooh, he's got a point.
Yeah, we're bound to come across one of those at some point.
Uh-huh. I just
I think it's open for interpretation. I mean, it's I wouldn't mind thrillers. Like, they don't always have to be horror, sort of say, but a good thriller that kind of gets you going is like, whoa, like, I don't know, Blair Witch. Would you say that's a thriller? But also, like, would you say it's a horror? Because, like, there's really not much horror things going on, but it's still kind of like or paranormal activity.
Suspense.
Like,
yeah, I think it's more suspense, and I think it's fair game because the whole plot was to go see, the area where a witch would be. I mean, I think it falls in line with that.
right. And that's what I'm agreeing with. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think it's fair game.
Oh, like I said, I'm all for whatever. Like, even if it were something where it was like a comedy movie that was just like a horror or a horror comedy, or like I'm cool with whatever. Most of the time you guys recommend movies I've never seen before, so this is just a good opportunity for me to see other movies, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would say 93% of the movies so far I have not even heard of until her suggesting them. And it's just like, okay, let's see what this one's about. Like, and then you look at the cast on some and you're like, how'd this one sneak by me? And then you watch it, you're like, now I understand.
Sometimes though, like, sometimes it works out. Because, like this one, granted, again, great cast, didn't turn out to be everything we hoped for. But then there was something like Sweet Meats that we watched that I had never heard of, and I enjoyed. And otherwise, like, I probably would have never seen the movie because, like, it's in its own kind of thing. And it's like, even when we were talking to Ricky, he was saying the fact that, like, it's going to be out in theaters, but it's kind of a limited run thing in theaters in some areas. I probably wouldn't have seen that it was going to be here unless he mentioned something about it. And now I know to keep an eye out. So,
well, there is a tour. There is a tour. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Right.
It's even coming to Utah, though.
Yeah, yeah. He mentioned a theater that's like 5 minutes away from my house. I was like, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Talk about owing someone a favor. Going to Utah.
All right, let me see if I can get this because I know
he did me a solid. He was like, "You live in Utah? I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Let me throw you a movie. Let me throw you a movie."
All right, if I can get this thing going here.
You're good.
All right, so let me see. Oh, there's tons of stuff on here from Monster Mania. But no, I got a notification of a post in reference to, let me see if it's this. Okay, so it's called Hands Across Trumerica. And it's featuring several movies. And out of those areas, it's mostly in Ohio. So
Damn
they
it.
have the Esquire Theater. It's called Hands Across Trumaville. I'm gonna see if I can't get this and post it to YouTube. But they're gonna be March 22nd. They're gonna be in Cincinnati, Ohio, Eugene, Oregon, March 29th, April
They're hitting
5th,
all the big stops.
yeah, Texas, April 12th, Golden, Colorado.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be April 19th, Winter Park, Florida, Inglewood, Ohio, April 26th, Gateway Film Center in Columbus, Ohio, May 17th, Middletown, Ohio, in May 24th, and then June 7th, Memphis, Tennessee. So it's going to be several of the movies, but one of them is going to be the world premiere of Sweetmeats.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Good for him to have like the little tour going on and stuff. And
Yep.
Does make me sad that they fly right over Utah and say nope and try and fly past as fast as possible, but I get it.
as does everyone that flies over Utah.
It's true. They're like, what's that crusty butthole? Oh, that's Utah.
Oh, that's Cypher. Just don't worry about it.
That's Cypher.
Just give him a little wave. He'll feel special. Hey, Cypher.
Yeah, but that's going on, and then of course, the horror conventions are gearing up for their openers as well.
Besides
in
Utah.
March. Yeah.
Damn.
Besides Utah, sorry.
Because Utah doesn't get anything cool.
It's okay, and that's fair. That's fair. We deserve it in many ways. It's fine.
But yes, us Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, we got some coming up that are going to be good. So you could live through us, Cypher.
I will.
I got you, bro.
You just we'll set up and coordinate a night where you can tell me stories of your experience, and I'll just sit there and eat popcorn and just live vicariously through you.
That's fair.
And
then the other half I could
it'd
tell
be
you
like
about
the
feed.
story time I missed with my own father, you know, like I can just sit there and just imagine a simpler time.
That's nice. I just did something I normally don't do. I caught myself where I said something. So good job, Matt.
Good job. Good job. You're already becoming a better person.
Well, at least we got that on recording.
You're already growing.
More ways than one.
Hashtag no Diddy.
No, yeah. So yeah, back to the movie.
So we're gonna figure out a movie, and
Well, you said we're going to start figuring out like a couple movies in advance, so also give the viewers a chance to and listeners a chance to watch them. Maybe not in the week that we discuss it, but maybe like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
I told you I'm in school, you know.
That actually was legit, not a shot at anyone. It was sincere, like it was just the
snarky nature of Presto's voice.
It was just, hey, you know, I understand life happens. If we tell you a movie today, maybe you won't be able to watch it in a week. So, you know, you can almost pick which ones you want to watch ahead of time. So if you don't watch it in time, you fall asleep, like you still have time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It still sounds like you're making, shots fired. But
well, once I got called out, I figured I might as well do it.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing movies that are not technically labeled on IMDb as horror. They might be labeled thriller or crime, but they have an element of horror in there. I think we should expand because,
I mean, The Substance is labeled as a comedy, I think. So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
like,
that was super weird to see that categorized, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like comedy. This isn't the one I watched because this is. I
mean,
there
were some things that were comedic, but most of it was like body horror at the same time. So
yeah, can you imagine like like you said, picking a movie for your wife, where you're like, oh, Substance. Oh wow, look, do you need more? It's a comedy. Yeah, let's watch this tonight. And 5 minutes in,
she would be thoroughly disappointed with me if I was like, "Oh yeah, I hear this is kind of a bit of a comedy. I think you'll enjoy this."
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the ending was a comedy.
True.
I
The
mean,
paper plate face.
I don't know if it was meant to be a comedy, but it was.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, Tommy Boy, like
Yeah,
Super
I
Bad.
wouldn't
Those
put
are
this right
comedies.
next to those. Yeah,
Like you see your comedies, that's what you're thinking of, like Dumb and Dumber, like classics, not the Substance. Like, that's not comedy.
I'm not putting the Blu-ray of Substance right next to Clerks.
Exactly.
It does
They're
not
both
match
comedy.
up in that genre for sure.
Yeah, so even though it's labeled one thing doesn't really mean it is that. And that's a movie where, maybe one person just laughed the whole way through, but for the most of us, it was a body horror, mutilation, batshit crazy kind of thing.
Yeah, chicken pieces coming out of body parts.
Oh God. Oh God.
The tooth coming out is what did it for me.
Oh yeah.
Not just one tooth.
Well, but
the
first one that she pulled and you heard that sound, that just went through. Like that was probably the most disgusting thing I've seen. Like I
was wearing my fancy headphones and had like the surround on, and to hear that noise in bass in my eardrum, I was like, dear God, like that's gonna give me nightmares just on its own.
Yeah, and like there's different, like for me, there's Terrifier gore where it's like kind of over the top. It's
torture
not
porn.
Yeah, and it's not like super realistic, but still some of it's pretty realistic. Where the Substance, like that was so realistic. The noises, the stuff you saw, like it didn't look like CGI, like nothing. So when you're watching it, that just hit me totally different than like Terrifier or something like that hits you.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. Well, should we go ahead and wrap this up so we can get Fuzzy off to his other endeavors this evening?
Yeah, let's go and do outros. Matt, we'll start off with you. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media and any plans you may have as far as movies, events coming up in the next week or so.
So I'm on Blue Sky, Presto Beaches. I have an Instagram, mromanition. As for what I have going on, basically the Super Bowl Sunday. And yeah, I think that's about it. I always feel like I'm supposed to have this whole list of things every week I'm on, just like, I'm going to list off these things and it's going to be awesome. But then usually it's just like, no, just going to hang out. I mean, we're getting a bunch of crappy weather coming up. So there's that.
Yeah.
Like we're getting more sleet, rain. And then next week's supposed to like snow a couple inches, like 4 days out of the week. So by the end of the week, we have like 2 feet of snow. So yeah, just doing that.
Yeah, fun times. Shoveling and salting.
Adulting, I guess.
Yeah, adulting.
Yeah. Well, always awesome having you on. Looking forward to next week. Hopefully we got let's see if there's a winter movie, a winter horror thriller that we can shoot for next Friday.
Krampus,
Silent
done.
Wait a minute. While we're on that subject.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
While we're on that subject, real quick before we finish with the outros. Are we having a podcast next Friday? Because what is next Friday?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You fucking did that on purpose. You set us up.
You just made us make a horrible decision.
Yeah.
So now we're in a rock and a hard place right now.
Yeah, we're totally doing the pod next week.
Yeah, and then I'm couch surfing right after.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
I'm going to go ahead and do some more research of the substance and make sure that my initial research was incorrect and verify any discrepancies.
Oh, that's a great idea. We should do that together.
No,
Not on Zoom or anything.
No,
like...
we're not dick docking. There's not going to be any couch cruising together. There's no.
Well,
You watch that. You watch that and do that research on your own couch.
Well, this is disappointing. I thought this was like the benefits of joining this podcast.
Yeah, no, we can play co-op video games. We're not playing anything else co-op.
Damn. Well, guys, it's been fun. Maybe I'm doing it for the wrong reasons.
We'll figure out.
I'm assuming that because everybody here is married.
Yeah.
That there's no podcast next Friday.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet.
It's probably the best.
Yeah, it's probably. Thanks, Fee. You did something good for us.
Yeah, I was about to go upstairs and say, "Hey, honey, just a heads up, I got a podcast next week." She'd be like, "The fuck you do?" So thank you for helping me dodge that bullet.
Yeah. So Cypher, tell everybody where they can find you and anything that you may have going on in the near future as far as events or anything.
Yes. Okay. So I've got Xbox International Podcast on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully I can join them this week. I've been very hit and miss on the show lately, but even if I'm not there, make sure you stop by, say hi to the guys. And then we also have our Spanish-speaking one on Fridays, if you prefer Espanol. And besides that, in 2 weeks, you'll catch me back here, and you'll catch me Friday morning that week on Double Barrel Gaming's podcast with hanging out with Fuzzy and Mr. Boomstick and whoever else is able to join us at the time. Besides that, catch me on social media, Silent Cypher, catch me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, I think a couple other things, or you can always catch me on Xbox if you decide you want to play some video games or want to talk some films.
Nice. And Fee, anything you got going on next week or any events in the coming weeks? And tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
So the only thing I have in coming weeks is this podcast and graduating from my nail tech program, which is only a 20-minute graduation ceremony, and Fuzzy will be there. The whole 20 minutes. He's got to sit in the car otherwise.
He's crying inside.
I know. Oh, well, he's gonna help me out when so we have this family and friends thing that we do at the for the clinic part or whatever, and he's gonna help me out with that, right, Fuzzy? That's his Valentine's Day present to me.
That's his present to him from you?
No, that's his present to me.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I thought you meant that's your present to him. I was like, holy shit, this guy's getting shafted.
No. He's going to he's he's not going to be the only one there of the male persuasion. A couple other boyfriends are coming along as, to help out.
Key word, you said boyfriends. They're still trying to get in. Fuzzy's been there, 25-year experience. Like, he doesn't need to get in anymore. He's in. Like, he doesn't need to do this stuff. Leave it to the young bucks.
They're gonna come over and try and spark a conversation with him and be like, "Hey, so how long you been doing this?" And he's gonna look at him and he's gonna be like,
27 years.
Get out while you still can.
I've been doing this before you were a twinkle in your dad's eye.
Yeah.
You do you, Fuzzy. I'm so happy you've been telling me all week how pumped you were to be doing this. So I really appreciate you
I saw
stepping
the
up and
shirt
doing
that you made
this.
for it and everything, so I'm pretty stoked.
The things we do for our wives. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do they do for us, though? That's the real question.
Hey, look
Yeah, I
at the
think our
time.
list
I
is
better go.
longer. Our list is longer of what we do for you. Trust me.
Anyway, you can find me on pretty much all social media except for Facebook because they won't let you use a pseudonym. Fuzzy Belvedere. Just do a search anywhere: YouTube, Instagram.
Is that your real name?
Hmm.
Your real name?
No, it's not my real name, but
Son of a
I
bitch, we've been
keep
lied
my
to.
real name, my government name, separate from my stage name. How about that?
You stripping
Anyway,
again?
That's fair.
No, you can find me on pretty much all social media except Facebook. Just do a search for Fuzzy_Belvedere. Doing a Xbox Ultimate podcast later on tonight on Fun Speculations channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to do Pixelated Echoes on Sunday. Typically, it's at 8 or 8:30ish time frame on Sunday. But Super Bowl and hopefully the Eagles will get another ring. We'll see. Refs cooperate. Anyway, then Monday.
What's your OnlyFans again for people that missed it the first time?
The only
yeah, all social media, your OnlyFans.
Fuzzy Belvedere's Toes.69.
That's it. I always forget the 69.
And then on Monday, what is it? Xbox Lunch Break Special, 12 noon on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick, 12 noon on Monday. And then later that evening, FSP also on Fun Speculations channel. Hope to see you guys there if you're into gaming. And then happy Valentine's Day next week. Find time with your loved ones and have a chill Netflix and chill night. I guess is probably the best suggestion. Feed, you already went, right? You already gave your outro. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a safe evening.
Find me.
They
know where to find me.
I can't hear you.
Slumming it in the IMDb hellscape for 3.2 rated movies.
Before they keep going.